Now we're going to tie one of my all-time favourite flies because it's very simple. It imitates a flying ant. And trout just love ants. It took a bit of developing this fly to make it this simple, but it really is effective. So lay down a bed of black ultrafine thread. This is 14 aught, something like that. The thinner the better. And then we're going to tie in a small amount of poly yarn. The other option is to use CDC, which actually also works really well for this fly. Pinch and loop, keep the yarn on the top of the hook. Tie it in nice and firmly, and then trim at an angle, like that. The primary concept behind this design is to provide a clean profile of the ant's segmented body. It's fairly well recognized that the segmentation is a key trigger for the trout. So having tied in that wing, we're just trying to get a really nice tight ball of superfine dry fly dubbing to make the first part of the gaster of the ant. Make a distinct ball like that. Then bend the wing back and tie up tight against the wing in much the same way as you do for Compar dry fly. Separate the fibers if you need to. And then we're going to build the front part of the gaster of the ant. And as with the Compar dry flies, this serves the purpose also of forcing that wing upright. Now, the wing does a pretty good job imitating the wings of the flying ant. And more importantly, from the angler's point of view, it makes this really rather small pattern visible. Flare those wings a bit more. There we go. So there's the back half of our flying ant tied in. Now I said the critical factor is to get a nice narrow waist in this pattern. And it's one of the problems with a lot of hackled ant fly patterns. You see a lot of commercial patterns that have hackle here, and then it destroys that waist. You can't see the waist anymore. And I firmly believe that that waist is a key trigger. So we've taken the thread to the front, and now we're going to build a ball of thread, of dubbing, Build a ball of ultrafine dubbing for the head of the ant. And again, although ants have 3 segments, the trout will accept 2. There's our ant. And again, to keep this distinct separation of the front and back half, we're going to whip finish in the middle of the hook between those 2 bumps. So we've got a nice thin waist. Whip finish. All we need to do now is trim that wing. And there is our Compar ant. It seems ludicrously simple, and actually it really works very, very well indeed. It's my favourite pattern when the ants are on the water, and very often just for picky trout that are refusing other flies, they'll very often accept the ant. So there's our ant. Really very, very simple. For a small fly, it's remarkably visible, and I fish it generally, this is slightly larger, I generally fish it in a size 18 or 20, and it's accounted for an awful lot of really rather good fish. As I say, it's a favourite.